There it comes. There we go. That's the other one.
How
Oh,
are you doing?
I'm not really cleaning up. I'm all right. I'm
You
a
all
bit
right?
coldy, as you might be able to hear.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a while.
So I'm a bit nasally.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's been a
okay.
long while. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry
sorry,
about
I've been
that.
so busy lately. I had to open new
Yeah, sounds
slots.
like it.
Yeah, it's just been
Yeah,
busy, which is
yeah.
it is what it
Yeah,
is.
no, I was quite free last week, so I thought I would try and book in with you, but there wasn't many slots available. And when you were free, I wasn't free, and so I thought, oh well, I'll
Yeah,
see if I can sneak in. But yeah,
yeah.
you're obviously too busy, so that's fine. So I found a slot for this week. So
No worries. So what's the story?
yeah,
What's the story been?
uh, what's the story, Bill? Well, I'm still backwards and forwards.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
it's it's crazy. It's really extreme backwards and forwards. I love listening to you. I don't kind of feel like I'm how do I say it? I just really enjoy, especially the introductions that you do, and it's not all the time, but I just love listening
oh,
and
thank you.
hanging with you guys for your uh, Sundays or whatever. So yeah, they're really quite cool, and it's just something kind of background, just like reassuring and kind of
Yeah,
reaffirming what's going on.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think there are times when it's just so clear and there are like things popping, and like the other week I had these insights that like uh, everything is just happening, but
yeah,
there are different views, like there are infinite ways to see the same thing, and there's like this kind of projection of you can see it like this and like this and like this. It's
yeah.
really
It's infinite, really, the seeing,
really
right?
weird.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's just infinite ways of seeing something. So and then there are other times when it just kind of the mind crashes in and it's like,
yeah.
oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And suddenly this whole kind of person,
Yeah.
it's almost like I put an overcoat of the person comes on, like,
Yeah.
and here it is, and here I am as a person, and I've got to navigate my life again, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's nuts.
It's
It's really
like
nuts.
that. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? There's this appearance that is unknowable, of course. But not even that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just another thought of what this is, right?
Yeah,
So that's even saying way too much, right? So what's appearing is this miracle, basically, that's appearing as whatever it is. So sometimes it can appear as this breezy, walk in a park, kind of like then no one really notices that. You know what I'm saying? Most of the
yeah, that's true.
time. No one books a one-on-one for that, you know.
No, no, exactly. It's too perfect. I was like, what can I
It's
do?
and then there are times that it seems so crowded, so the weight is heavy and everything, right? Because the seeming life seems to appear as heavy, or kind of like, just a lot of thoughts about it seemingly. But that's
Yeah,
also it, because without that there's no other. There's, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It creates this seeming kind of like, opposites,
yeah,
opposites of clarity, and then the opposite of that is full of like me, full of whatever, and that's also it. But
yeah,
what's seemingly underlying all of it, kind of like what you were saying, is just this perfection that cannot really
yeah,
be figured out. It appears in everything. So
yeah,
to seemingly settle from that, this will seem like, a doing, although there's no one doing. The question is, what's behind the thought that it's perfect or not perfect? Because those are just ideas, right?
yeah.
Yeah, what's behind it, or who's behind it
Nothing.
even? Yeah,
It's just empty. It's just
it's
empty, and
empty. Yeah, it's
that
irrelevant,
comes up.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that does arise, and it's when that's seen, it's like, ah, what was all that about? Like,
yeah,
it's just, yeah, it's
yeah.
just empty.
It's empty, right? So even empty, even if you go back to that, let's just go even further, right? What's that even?
Yeah,
It's just direct now, right? It's direct, and it's there's a silence and there's a sound coming from two characters seemingly, trying to exchange, words and everything. But what never leaves is that neutrality. That no matter what arises, there's this seeming background of neutrality. You don't need to observe it, because when this neutrality just arises, that's when you're like having a walk in the park, eating food that you like, watching TV or dancing. You know what I'm saying? That neutrality seems to be just, and then the moment that you put in that, oh, this is bliss, I wish I can have this all the time, then it, then it
Yeah.
boomerangs to like, oh, I wish I had that night that I was just dancing the whole night or something, right?
Yeah.
So both are thoughts, both are relevant, basically. Because if you
Yeah.
go behind that, there's nothing behind it. If you look to see what's observing, there's really no observer. And that's the crux of it, right? Because people always think that there's an observer, but that observer is just another appearance. It's just a thought, really. It's just an idea. And if you look at the observer, it's empty as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like this right now. You know what I'm saying? These words seemingly, and no one really notices it, right? These words are really coming out of nowhere. There's really no thought behind this. And if you're talking
No.
directly, it's always like that, right? So even thoughts, there's no one behind it too. It just appears so because you'll say, well, I'm thinking of that. That's just another thought. Well, that's what's happening to
Yeah.
me. That's just another thought. And if you go backwards, seemingly, again, this is just a suggestion, right?
Yeah.
It's always empty.
Yeah.
So after like 6 years of this clarity or something, it almost everything fizzles out now. Even that, oh, this is great. Like I get invited to be in front of like 50,000 people, just hidden in the background. I'm saying, someone at a concert, and I was just in a backstage just to, and then the concert performer said to me,
Wow.
how was that for you? And I'm like, well, it's kind of like walking in a park. It's beautiful because
Wow.
it comes and it fizzles,
Amazing.
right? So even
Yeah.
that, even that, like a peak, seemingly a peak, appearance, I'm like, that was great. But that's also the same as looking at the sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have a story about it. So you're
That's right.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're basically looking at the same thing over and over and over again. And the movements that comes in, there's a freshness to it. Like, for
Yeah.
example, this is completely fresh right now. We've never
Yeah.
talked like
No.
this.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the thought will say that, well, we talked a few months ago. Then that's just another idea. What's
Yeah.
behind that? It's empty again. What's behind
Yeah.
this voice is empty again. What's listening is not really Cal, because that's just another idea that I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating because when I look back at our chats before, I see that there's this kind of wish to understand what you're saying, and there's like, oh yes, I know what he's talking about now.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I don't. The truth is,
I
there's
don't, to
nothing
be
that's
honest.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing here that's being
Yeah.
understood. It's
Yeah.
just, uh, yeah, like you say, it's just noise going backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is some kind of resonance, and some kind of
Yeah.
uh, I can't describe it, but it's, let's call it knowing, let's call it something,
Yeah.
yeah, a recognition that
Yeah.
it's a reminder. It's a reminder of what's ultimately going on, which is
Yeah.
unknowable. So,
Yeah. And even that, if
but
even if you go,
it's
even if you look at that, right, it's also empty again. Because it's easy to get
yeah,
stuck again in the idea that this is unknowable. So now it seemingly knows the unknowable, which is just another
yeah,
thought, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
It's unknowable, period. That's basically it, right? And no one really
yeah,
knows it. And that's the appearance of this. Like, I have a person that um was basically stuck in seeking for more hardcore than me, like 12 hours a day, listening,
wow,
making notes, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of like full
yeah,
time and going overtime every day and everything. Like that for about 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And because he thought that he found out radical non-duality is it and everything, right? And I'm
yeah,
like, when it becomes another idea, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how
yeah,
clear the statements are when it gets repeated over and over again. Not the fault of the speaker. The speaker is
yeah,
trying to convey something that is really clear.
sure,
But the moment that somebody hears contracted energy, and that's what repeats over and over and over and over in their
Yeah.
head. Then it
Yeah.
becomes their identity now. And then
Yeah.
the next that they're looking for is there should be no me. That's happening. But what else is
Yeah.
happening with your life? You're still in France,
Well,
right?
I'm still in France, yeah. I've just again, this is kind of why it's interrupted a little bit, kind of
Mhm.
the me, because I bought a house.
Oh,
I bought this cheap.
congratulations.
Thank you. I bought this little house in the country, and
Is this where you are
my
right now?
no, no, wait, I've got lots of work to do in it. So I've got to
Oh,
painting and
yeah.
all sorts of lots of work to do on it.
Yeah.
So it's not really livable at the moment. But yes, I bought it, and then I'm afterwards thinking, well, what the fuck have I just done? Oh my god! Now I'm stuck in France. I can't escape. So I mean, there's an ongoing thing that is being, because that was a question I had for you. Really, was regard to there's an apparent like cause and
Regret?
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, regret is something that comes up a
Yeah.
lot, but it moves into this story of Calvin. Like, when I was in the UK, I had this perfect life, and then I threw it all away and came to France. And then since I've been in France, I've known I went through the Buddhist thing and balanced view and all of these like culty type things to get to where I
Yeah.
am now. Um, and and so there is this big story that arrives that says, well, how on earth did you get to here? What's created this?
Yeah.
And then and if I go into the story, then it's like, well, I had this trauma when I was a child, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that probably made me make these kind of decisions and things. So,
Yeah.
and possibly it's true. Maybe there are things that in the story kind of lead, because obviously there's lots of things that seem to make up this. Um,
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
This character
Yeah.
has tendencies. It has, whether it's a person or
Impulses
not
and
making
stuff.
decisions. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're impulses, or fears that prevent things from happening as well. Like there are many things that I would love to be doing, but due to fears that come up from wherever they come. So there appears to be some kind of like cause and effect in the story
Yeah.
that has led to this character doing what it does and behaving as it does,
Yeah.
etc., etc., including coming to non-duality talks
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is that's happening. So I don't know. I mean, do you have anything to kind of
Yeah.
say about that? Is
Okay.
it just a
Yeah. Yeah.
story?
Okay. And you know what? In this directness right now, right? In
Yep.
this apparent directness where words are just coming out of my mouth and seemingly words are coming out of your mouth. Um, is are any thoughts relevant?
No.
No. So I can surmise, I can say that all thoughts are relevant. So even a thought of
Yeah.
cause and effect, because the seeming idea is that there's a past, but that's just a thought. In the future, it's just another thought. So in this directness, in this very, very moment right now, um, you're absent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it matter really? In this directness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so strong. This kind of
That's
but.
just another thought. See,
Oh
that's
my god.
irrelevant as well.
Yeah.
I'll just call it out, right? I'll just call it out.
Yeah.
That's also relevant because it tries to flip flop, right? And it can't seem to focus on what's in this directness. In this directness, that there's just this simultaneous silence and sound appearing. Then it tries to go to the past and the future, and it can't seem to focus on what is already. It's not about focusing.
Yeah.
There's no one focusing, right? But anything that seems to go to the past and the future is just illusion.
Yeah.
So it distracts this aliveness, you know what I'm saying? That cannot be distracted, of course. And
Yeah.
and it seems to flip back and forth. And it will say that it has a cause and effect because I have a history, but those are just irrelevant. Irrelevant. All of it. All of it. It's just this in this, in this presence without a being or whatever. In the
Yeah.
quietness of this. when it's seen, you know what I'm saying, that there's really just what seems to be happening. So
Yeah.
for example, if that decision is already been made, you're already about that. So it is. And for example, in this apparent directness, so if you decide to sell it and everything, that's also it. But there's really no one choosing to do it. It's
Yeah.
just a thought. The cause and effect is just a thought. It tries to make excuses to create this loop again. It goes into this loop of knowing, loop of knowing, loop of knowing, loop of knowing. If I would have done this, a lot of second guessing and everything, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, in this apparent momentless moment right now, it doesn't matter. Even a thought will say what it matters to me. That's just a thought, meaning that there's really no thoughts that's real. It tries to create a drama out of something that already is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
He loves drama.
it does. Drama can only exist in the past and the future. It doesn't exist in the apparent
Yeah,
moment, right? Because it
yeah,
has a
exactly.
storyline. When you cut through the
Yeah,
storyline and see that, okay, there's no linearity even. It's just always
yeah,
this. It's just always this. It's easy to get caught up,
yeah.
what what you think or others say, but in this
Yeah,
directness right
triggers.
now. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's also it, right? But kind of like you can say that you have an infinite way of showing, looking at this. You
yeah,
can infinitely look at it in the past and the future, and if you look at it in the past, then you'll have depression, of course, because you
yeah.
always
Well, that's what
compare to
happens.
some.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because you'll always compare to like, oh, it's happier then. So you miss out
yeah,
this. You
yeah,
miss out this apparent present right now. It's a gift. Every moment is a
yeah,
gift, right? And you
yeah.
keep on exchanging it for the past memories,
Which aren't
which
even real anyway. They're just
it's not
stories.
real anyway. Yeah. It's just a
Yeah,
memory now, right? It's just a thought.
yeah,
Or you keep on thinking of, will it get better? Then it becomes anxiety.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What will happen in the future?
Yeah. So when there's this presentness, let's just call it presentness, right? Because I can't really call it any word. This
Yeah,
aliveness, right? Then painting, renovating becomes like, that's it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
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 it's probably what you're doing, right? It just becomes putting on some music, dancing, then it just becomes really present. But
yeah,
when there is a thought that appears like about the past, it's irrelevant. You're forgetting
yeah,
what you're looking at. You're forgetting,
yeah.
you're
That's what happens.
negotiating this very beautiful appearance of what is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. You should
It's
have called me early.
exchanging the
You should have called me
perfection of.
earlier, pal. But that's just a thought. See, it's irrelevant. I'm just trying to point it out, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now there's peace again,
Yeah,
isn't
because
it?
oh God,
Yeah.
it was so much depression. It was so debilitating. Had like 2 or
Yeah.
3 days of just I could yeah, like the weekend I had this girl that she came for a photo shoot and, a friend of mine, and I just so depressed. I didn't wanna do it, and I was like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
just everything was against it. She came and we started it, and it went alright. It was lovely afterwards. We had a really good time.
Yeah.
We had a nice time, but
When you
and that's
engage
because
the
I guess
drama queen, the drama queen takes over.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Although there's you
Exactly.
engaging, right? But again, there's infinite
Yeah,
ways of looking at this, and there's really no free will or choice, right? But you see that even looking at the past is relevant, future irrelevant.
yeah,
Any
yeah,
thought is
yeah.
irrelevant, really. It's
It's
irrelevant.
just constantly, comparing past, future,
Yeah.
uh, and trying to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, predicting how it's gonna go for the photo shoot and not wanting
It's
to do it,
it's like
etc.
reading a book and going back to the a few chapters before and then trying to
Yeah,
go to the future chapters, right? You're
yeah,
not enjoying
yeah,
the story. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The chapter
Yeah.
before was better than this chapter. So.
Yeah. But you don't know what's really coming. So you try to go to the future, you know what I'm saying? And you're like,
Yeah,
oh shit.
it's
But
so tricky. Yeah,
it is tricky, yeah. But that's just another thought. It's not really tricky.
yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It appears that way. But when you see that there
yeah,
is no player, so the player is the thought, then there's no game really, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nuts. It's just nuts.
Yeah. This is nice. Just here. Just here, right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's just this
it's
apparent
beautiful.
moment. Yeah, it is. It's peaceful. It's almost like this is like where you can dump everything, like it's irrelevant. This is like you know what I'm saying? It's like where you put everything to rest,
Yeah,
the deep rest, basically, the relaxation. You're like, oh shit, I don't have to worry. It's just irrelevant. And you see the luminousness of this, the radiance of it. You're not trying to go to the fog of your memory, to the fog of your future. Then you enjoy, seemingly, in the story, you enjoy painting again or cleaning, whatever you're
yeah,
doing, right? You enjoy the,
yeah,
the the small house that you bought in the countryside, probably, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
But that's what was happening before,
yeah,
a week ago. That was how it was. It was just
yeah,
like, oh, well, this is happening. Oh, this has been bought. All right. Well, I'm
yeah,
just going to do this. I'm just
yeah.
going to
There,
do that. And
there you go.
car
There you
was
go.
driving. Everything was happening by itself. And then,
That's
boff,
also
this kind
irrelevant.
of
See,
depression.
so
And
even that is irrelevant. So it tries to compare again, right? You can't
yeah, true.
compare this because this is fresh.
Yeah, that's
Comparing
true.
it robs it of its freshness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been so grumpy and tired recently. Everything was pissing me off. Everything. Oh my God. And that's okay too. But
That's
then
okay
it's
too.
like
Yeah.
making it wrong. Like,
Yeah.
you know, why am I so grumpy? I shouldn't be so grumpy. What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm never going to be happy again.
Yeah. So even those statements are relevant. All of it,
Yeah,
right? All of it. It's like this emptiness. It's vacuums all of the dirt. You're standing at the event horizon. It's like a black hole that everything just gets sucked into it,
you
right?
read my mind. It's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, black hole. That's what it is.
Yeah. And the black hole is beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just this emptiness, right? That all of the worries get sucked in, all of the problems get sucked in because they're irrelevant. I remember one time I took acid and I don't recommend it. So I was such an uptight guy and somebody, goes, take some acid, Emerson. I'm like, oh, why not? So I went to somebody's house and the acid kicked in and I was sliding back and forth with my socks like a little child. And
Cute.
I do that now, what I'm saying? Like I dance around with my socks, right? Because it's nice, right? Because
Yeah, yeah, I do
who
that.
cares, right?
Yeah.
That's what I did this morning. I was like, oh, this is just my acid. Just put on some music, saying just the aliveness and everything. The music becomes vibrant, the food that you eat, Um, and it's
Yeah.
not a practice, right? It's always here. But seeing that the thoughts are relevant over and over again, then it fizzles, right?
Yeah. It has less power.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a habit. I know that's just a story as well, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
like a
just another
very
thought. Yeah. It makes
uh
something unreal real the moment that you have another thought. So the thought is just to support the thought before, so that the thought before seems continuous and it's real. But the thought doesn't have continuity. Because what happens to all thoughts when you go to deep sleep, they completely vanish, don't they?
it's like erasing all belief systems
It
because
is. It
it
is.
needs it seems like there's a necessity to have a belief system to cling on to. Well, it's like this or it's like that,
Yeah. No,
and
no.
it
That's just a
goes and it's
thought.
like,
That's
oh
just,
my God, there's nothing left to cling on to.
yeah.
There's nothing left to hang on
But
to.
there's enjoyment and relaxation when there's no belief system, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah. I just went to the monastery. Um, I talk to monks now.
Do you?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
They ask for you?
one of the, what do you call the top one? I can never remember the name. It's like a deacon or something. Like it's a
I
Buddhist
don't know.
monastery.
Yeah, yeah.
The abbey, right? The abbey
Right.
caught a video that was being passed around, my video, and he watched it, and then he got addicted to it. He left the monastery and basically reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, Emerson, can we meet?" So we met. We met up. So we talked for a couple of hours, and he said that I know nothing's really happening, but I feel like, I should give back. He goes, a lot of Buddhist monks are depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't even know about that. I just thought that they were in Zen, you know what I'm saying, all the time, meditating, but
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah, yeah.
I've been
And
there.
what's that?
I've been there. I
Yeah,
spent 10 years in Buddhism, and
yeah. So I do
I
my talks now, and and some people, a couple of people out of like, 10, 15, pack up their bags and say that um I'm gonna leave.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Or they start thinking that they can leave now, right? Because it's
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's radical, isn't it? I mean,
It is, yeah.
such a dedication
Yeah.
to become a monk
Yeah, and one of the thing that they
and to
discovered
see
is one of the monasteries got it's what's her name again? Don't share this with anyone. It's a private
no.
um Prem. She's a big one. I
Are
used to
we
read her
Prima
books.
Children?
Premature children, yeah.
Something like that.
So it's in
Yeah, I can't
Canada.
remember.
She has a big monastery
Yeah,
here and everything. One of the monks installed cameras in the dressing room.
right.
Yeah. So that was a little bit of a scandal, right? So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Bit of excitement for them. Oh my
So I guess they're
goodness. Oh
cleaning
wow.
house right now. That's why they're allowing me to speak there and everything, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
And
But I
some
mean,
of
it
them,
doesn't surprise me. Like, if you look in, go on, sorry.
okay. No, no, go ahead, go ahead. I was just sipping.
No, no, no. Some of them, you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the same with anybody, right? You know what? If you're stuck in the same thing over and over again, um,
Yeah.
it's like getting strapped in a straight jacket, seemingly, and you get depressed or whatever. But going back to what's being said here, um, the clarity is not in this story. The story consists of a past and a future. There's no stories right
Yeah.
now. There's stories seemingly
Yeah.
appearing, but you also see that they're also not stories, meaning that it's empty,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's all empty.
So that gives us nothing to talk about, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
strange because there are
You
thoughts
came
that
here
come
with
up
a whole
about
bunch of
this
stuff.
example and that. Let's talk about this, talk about that, and it's
Yeah,
nice to chat about stuff. But then at the same time, when
yeah.
we're talking about this, there's nothing to say because it's like it's
It's
all gets
empty. Yeah,
sucked into the black hole. So
it does.
like
The infinite, not just the black hole, but the infinite black hole. You know what I'm saying?
infinite black hole. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's
But everything normalizes again, so to speak, right? It neutralizes again. It's so fast, right? Because you thought that you were trapped in a past loop. It was just like a looping past.
yeah,
Yeah, because you're always comparing, right? I was happy in London and everything, so
yeah,
I'm not happy here anymore. That kind of thing.
yeah, yeah,
Happiness is not a
yeah.
location. It's
Exactly.
not a. It's not even a history, right? So
It's not even a state.
it's not even a state. Yeah, it's the unconditionality of everything that appears, right? So
See,
yeah,
that's the trap as well, because, like, I think if I look at what brought me here in the first place, it's suffering. And I'm not
yeah.
the only one. I think
Oh
most
yeah,
people
yeah,
come to this kind of thing because suffering. It's the me that's suffering. So then, when there is relief from that suffering, so for example, just listening to these talks can be relief
yeah,
to a degree. It
yeah,
can be just, there's something that's just going on. Can't
yeah,
explain it. It's just wow.
yeah.
Um, so that relief happens, and that's like, oh, great. But then that seems to allow thoughts to come back in to pull you into running
But
after
that's just
this or
but
running
that's just
after that.
another that's another
It
thought
is,
though.
it is, but that
Yeah.
that kind of maintains the loop in the
Yeah, it
story of
does. It
what,
does. It does. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
uh, it's
Yeah.
the point I was trying to make. I think is that it's not about feeling relaxed all the time, or not
Yeah.
about feeling, because anything can happen in
Anything
this.
can happen. Yeah. It can be like, for example, you know what, like, if for example, if I stub my toe, you know what I'm saying, there's
Yeah,
pain.
yeah,
That's it. That seemingly can, like,
yeah,
even that pain brings you to this infinite black hole, right? You're like, ouch.
yeah,
And then it disappears.
yeah,
And then you take a
yeah,
bandage or something if it's something that you have to, do. And it's just this even the most intense thing, right? Like
yeah.
when I that garage door, that's the accent, right? Garage door.
Garage door.
I was talking to someone and someone's like, what do you mean oh, garage.
Garage.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. So at that very moment, right, that's what is throbbing as pain. That's what is,
Yeah,
all of this endorphins coming in. And without the thought or story behind it, you're like, oh wow, it's actually euphoric, right? It's like, it's not,
yeah,
it's euphoric and painful simultaneously. And that's the same thing as whatever this is. It's it could be mild, it could be intense, it doesn't matter because there's nothing behind it. And the thought that comes seemingly to attach to that comes in delay, if you notice it. And then
yeah,
but that delayed thought becomes the drama queen, and it becomes kind of like, oh, you know what am I doing back here for example, if that happened, what am I doing
yeah.
back here at home? I should move back to Vancouver. You know what, I would, at least I would, there would be no garage doors, or trying to move all of this garbage out of this house, like all of that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
um but it was just pain. It was just whatever
no,
that seems to appear is always it. But the moment that
yeah,
it gets wrapped around and labeled as my story, then it
yeah,
becomes my pain.
yeah. It's not that it's less painful. It's
then
just that
then the
it's
thought
not.
becomes almost like glued to the pain
Yeah,
now. And that
yeah,
glue seems to create this story about the past and the future. So it prolongs the pain when it's just really, your fingers just got caught up in a garage door. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's pretty painful, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's pretty painful, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this shoulder and arm that's like cramps all the time. I
Yeah.
think since I picked up a heavy shopping bag, and I was determined to carry it up my 3 flights of stairs to my flat,
Oh my
even though I
goodness.
knew it was too heavy.
Yeah.
It's just like, how stubborn I can be. And now the consequences, so-called consequences, are that it's quite painful for the last couple of weeks. And it's interesting to see the moments of clarity when it's like, oh, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
It's nothing more than that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder how long it'll last for.
Yeah.
And then the other side of like, oh my God, why did I carry that shopping bag? I'm so
Yeah.
stupid.
So
Now
so
what?
that thought is irrelevant. It will come up. It's not about getting rid of it, right? But it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It doesn't matter what the thoughts come, right? It's almost like having this. It's like if someone told me this before, and if your thoughts were a real person, you would not be friends with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I've heard that quite
Yeah.
a lot. It's so true.
So why is it your best friend? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Why stay friends with it? Get rid of him.
It's you can't get rid of it, but it's like it's just like like a pathological liar that keeps on lying all the time, right? Because there's
Yeah,
no, it tries to um it tries to blind the
yeah,
character out of what is already happening, right? What's this
yeah,
miraculous unraveling? So it seems to
yeah.
kind of like distort what this is, and it becomes about. But you know what's the funniest? That's also what is playing as blindfold.
What do you mean
Even the thoughts
by
is
playing
also
by?
what is, yeah. But since
What do you
what
mean by the
is unknowable,
blindfold?
it blindfolds
Ah,
from the directness, from the
oh, I
from the
see.
the
Right. Okay.
infinite black hole. Yeah.
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 Yeah. How are you feeling now?
I can't say
Huh?
it's it's almost like a little piece of the puzzle is kind of clicked in. It's like it's so obvious, really, in a way
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
all it is this story that's pulling in the story, kind of pulling out of this what this is already, this
Yeah.
beauty of what is already.
Yeah. This can't be
Uh,
told. What this is, you know what I'm saying? Because it's
no,
silence. Yeah. Yeah.
left uh,
It
left to
flat.
itself, it's just unfolding naturally and beautifully as it
Yeah.
is, and it doesn't need to be interfered with
No, no.
or predicted or discussed or commented on. It's already happening as it is.
Yeah. It doesn't need any input, doesn't it?
No,
No.
doesn't need any constant commentary in the background.
I always say this. It's like this beautiful silent movie, and then you turn off the foreign language that you don't understand. I used to get those pirated movies. I'm like, what the hell? You know, like it's a really clear, like, oh
Yeah,
wow. And all of a sudden the
yeah,
language is like Russian or Chinese or something. You're like, what?
yeah. I got a funny story about that actually. I
Yeah,
was on holiday with my girlfriend years ago,
yeah,
and I think we went to Sicily or somewhere, and we turned on the TV. We were watching it, and obviously we couldn't understand it because they
yeah,
were
yeah.
talking Italian. And
Italian,
so
yeah.
I went over to the TV to turn it up because I couldn't understand it. And
Yeah.
my girlfriend said, "What are you doing? You're not going to understand it because it's louder. It's ridiculous." And I just turned it up. I said, "Yeah, I know."
It's kind of like this. You're not going to focus on your thoughts to understand what this is.
No,
Yeah, the same
no,
thing, right?
exactly. Yeah,
So rather than just seeing that, seeing through those empty words, empty thoughts, it's just this unraveling all the time, right? It's like, wow.
I don't know why I'm laughing. Had all these notes to talk to you about today.
You had a whole bunch of notes.
Notes, lots of notes to talk to you about today.
Aren't they relevant now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the bin.
Just one question and it all fell apart, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it takes. It's just one question just to see through it, right? That it's just irrelevant. It's just kind of like what Einstein said, right? If Einstein, you know, sees through it, like reality is an illusion, but a very persistent one.
Yeah.
So the
Very
seeming
convincing.
reality, which is illusion, will keep on trying to, you know, distract what can't
Yeah.
be named, what can't be known, what can't be figured out because it's infinite.
Yeah.
The infinite is infinitely permanent, meaning the seeing of this until you think it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But the thinking is just an illusion, right? So every single thought is an illusion, every single one of them.
What about insights that arise? I mean, like they're so wow sometimes.
Yeah.
Are they as irrelevant, would you say?
Yeah. Again, you know what I'm saying? It's irrelevant as well. There's going to be feelings, this sensation, right? This insight. Um,
Yeah.
and and then the moment that you munch over it, you know what I'm saying? Then the insight
Yeah.
becomes another thought. if you notice it. I've had many insights,
Yeah,
and I kept
yeah,
on following them, right? And I just kept on tripping on them at the same time
right.
because I held on to them as relevant now.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That's the thing. Because they seem
yeah,
so incredible and amazing at the time, and you
yeah,
think, "Oh my god,
yeah,
I had no idea."
yeah.
But the trouble is that they fade,
They
and
become
then, like,
bookmarkers of a chapter that's already disappeared.
yeah,
They become earmarks of an empty page.
and then you drag them back into the present, say, "Well, I saw this,
Yeah,
and this was."
it's you go back to that earmark page and you can't seem to because it didn't happen already. It didn't
Yeah,
happen already. You know what I'm saying? So it's trying to make relevant to something that's also irrelevant. It's beautiful. You know what? Let's not dismiss it completely, right? But
sure.
even that is irrelevant, right? So kind of like what I said, if I got caught up, well, that's what happened to me for like 10 years, was I got caught up in my initial big awakening, right? You know, so seeing,
Yeah.
and that's what really screwed me up because I could not get back into it. But
Yeah.
what I did not notice is that never left. Just my thought about it changed. I changed my mind, you know, that kind of thing, which is like,
Yeah, yeah.
which is just, you can't. And again, this one, this one, that cannot be talked about. This emptiness or whatever. Um, what's a mind? What's a thought? Irrelevant, empty air.
Empty. Yeah.
Yeah, clouds. Really, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So when people talk about, like, contracted energy, and the me's trying to do this and the me's
that's just
trying to do
also
that,
irrelevant. That's just a thought again.
it's yeah, but in a way it's kind of, because it's repeated by the
It
same
becomes
person,
indoctrination.
it becomes something that, oh well, I need to look for that. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
that's what it
yeah,
is. So, oh, but I'm not feeling that, and it
yeah,
becomes quite technical, and
yeah.
even if it's negated as, like,
It
being
becomes
just
gatekeeping,
thought,
isn't it?
it's,
Right? Because some authority
yeah, it
figure.
becomes
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's just another irrelevant thought, right? Because if you just count on that one, like the
yeah,
last one, the one that I did, it was so clear. That's why I wrote it down. There's no such thing as contracted energy. I don't know if you saw that one with
yeah,
Kim.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, it did, yeah, I saw that. It was
yeah,
lovely. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So that's kind of like right now. Is there contracted energy? It's just a thought, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's just an idea.
yeah.
Just
And like what I said there, right? One time I was like walking and I was like, you know, I had clarity for a long, long time, and there was just this knot, like this tightness in my chest, and I was like, is the me back? And then of course it was just gas. I took some Galveston, you know what I'm saying? And I also saw this, I thought, I'm like, that's, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I just took some Galveston. And of course, when the gas came out, I was just in hysterics. You know, when you have that tightness and you just keeps on like, oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, if you've had that.
That's a contracted energy.
Yeah. Maybe not too much, maybe not too much. Like sometimes I love vegan food, right? Sometimes I forget that I don't eat a lot of vegan food anymore. So I gorge on them, like it's like a buffet for me. I'm like, I'll have this, this,
Yeah,
this, and that, right? Because that's all I ate before. So like I like the cauliflower, you know, wings, I like all of those comfort, vegan food,
yeah,
right? That's so
yeah,
delicious. Um,
yeah.
I like all of those sweet yams, So if you combine them all together, that's a lot of gas.
Exactly. It's normal.
A lot of tofu, you know what I'm saying? A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah, exactly. Lentils, chickpeas,
lentils, yeah, chickpeas.
beans.
Especially, I love sometimes going to an Indian buffet and just eating all the vegan food. I love it, right?
Yeah,
Because
oh, Indian
because it's
is just
so
gorgeous.
so good, right? The
Yeah,
lentils, the
the dal.
the dal, the tikka, you know what I'm saying? All those
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
those
It's delicious.
deliciously uh charcoaled like vegetables. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah,
For me, it tastes better
yeah,
than chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like all of those If it's cooked in a
yeah,
tandoori kind of like thing, oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah. Well, the spices are so complex and
Oh, I
so
know.
beautifully thought out that there's
Yeah,
just the taste over. Yeah, it's just so gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah, I did a Indian cooking course years ago,
Oh, did
and
you?
yeah,
It's so
and I didn't
complex.
realize it's so
Even butter
complex.
chicken
We
is
had to
so
buy
complex, right? Butter
we had to
chicken
buy
is,
so many spices. Oh my God, it's just like 10 spices just for one dish, and you think, oh
I
my goodness,
know. And you have to
it's
ground
crazy.
them. You have to make sure that they're completely ground, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you have to
yeah,
get
yeah.
those like, mortar, you know what I'm saying? And
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
pestle and mortar or something. Yeah,
pestle and mortar.
yeah.
You
So now
can't
I just
just
buy
put
the
it in a
sauces.
food processor because food processor kind of ruins it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, if it's authentic. So
yeah,
yeah, now I just buy the sauces. I cheat.
me too. Or go to an
Yeah,
Indian buffet.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh, it is so good. Oh, I love Indian.
I realized I like eating more than cooking. So, I'll stick with that. Right. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't blame you.
it always
It's
doesn't
hard work.
taste the same. You're like, it's missing something.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. Like no matter how
Yeah,
authentic the menu is, right? The
yeah, yeah,
recipe.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard work.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
So yeah,
It's
yeah. I
it's
liked.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, no, go ahead.
No, no.
I
Oh,
said
to hear what you said.
it's so
Yeah,
peaceful when it's just direct.
yeah,
Again and again, any words that I say or any other speaker say just creates this seeming kind of like reinforcement that there's something missing. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
you'll hear me say that, this beautiful emptiness and everything. And then when you see that, well, I don't see that. Then
That's
you made my
yeah,
words
exactly.
into something that,
Yeah,
that is missing. Although they're
yeah.
really just really made up words. Nothing's missing really, right? So
That is the danger because, like, even with one-to-one, sometimes not with me, but when I listen to other one-to-ones that you do with other people, there can be insights that arrive, or they say, "Oh, I can see this," or "I can see energy," or "I can see whatever it
that's just
is,"
all thoughts,
and then
yeah.
there's this like comparison comes in, thinking, "Oh, but
Yes.
that's not. I thought I saw, but no, it's I don't have that." So it's
Yeah.
okay. Well, I still got to go somewhere. I've still got to,
Yeah. Well, the
and
reason I released the thing is I just want to be transparent in what I do. You know what I'm saying? Um,
yeah.
I like the honesty of it. I like the sincerity,
Yeah.
and like
But no, I mean,
how normal it is.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But on the other side, I mean, the one-to-ones are probably in some ways more powerful
it is. Yeah,
than the, the meetings because they're so direct,
it
and it's so
is.
intense.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's one that you did with an English guy um, who had an autistic child, and it was so beautiful. And that
Oh
was
yeah,
one that
yeah,
kind of triggered me to
yeah,
like there was just wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it
That
just
was
had a
beautiful.
kind of a
Yeah,
wow moment.
yeah. And
And
I see, because in the story of Emerson, my uncle had Down syndrome. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I've always been fascinated, just the love of it. You know what I'm saying? The purity of it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't even see
exactly.
it as
Innocence.
I didn't even the innocence of it. I didn't even see it as um because in my story, that was the most loving person in my
Yeah,
life, right? Just
yeah,
held my hand, you know what I'm saying? And we were only maybe 3 years. He was 3 years older. My grandma had him really, really late. It was an accidental
right.
baby, so to
Yeah, that can
speak, right?
happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And in my dad's family, right? Because that's my uncle. Um,
yeah,
he's the gift. He's the gift in the family. He's the
yeah,
heart,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's beautiful, beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful guy, right? And the rest of the world sees that there's something wrong with him. So growing up, I never saw really
Yeah.
anything wrong. I just saw a loving
No.
person. So when I was
Yeah,
doing my spiritual whatever,
yeah.
I did teach meditation to autistic kids, and I loved it. I
Really.
loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah. There were beautiful parts of it too, right? Because there was a
yeah,
sincerity here to
yeah.
be with them. And I studied, and esteeming and all of their behaviors and everything. I just
Right.
basically saw like little gems, diamonds, you know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful,
yeah, yeah.
beautiful.
They're always smiley and
Yeah.
just there's a
Yeah.
restaurant where I live now in Tours, which is called, I can't remember the name of it now. uh, but it's a restaurant which is dedicated. They employ mostly people with cerebral palsy,
Oh
and
wow.
well, they don't do the cooking, but they do the serving,
Yeah. Oh
and
wow.
it's dedicated to them, and it's just so beautiful. They're just so
Yeah.
happy to like to talk to people and
Yeah.
to be of service, and they're just so smiley and warm, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, it was a beautiful initiative to do that because it's
Beautiful.
you
Yeah.
know, I think it's for them, it gives them you know, kind of a part in the world, and for the clients, or for the, you know, the people that go to the restaurant, they get to interact with people that they probably wouldn't normally interact with, you know, and to
Yeah.
see that side of that, what we might call an illness, and you say, like, you know, it's just warm and warmth and beauty, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just lovely. It's just
Yeah. If you
yeah,
again, if you see that without thoughts, right? Like even, because that's how I saw my uncle without
yeah,
thoughts yet, because I grew up, innocently with him, seemingly. And I just saw him for what he is. I just saw love. I just saw a caring person. Every time that I gave him, as we got older, I would give him a shirt, for birthdays and everything.
yeah.
You know what? He folds them. He doesn't use them because it's from me. He cherishes them.
No.
I
Oh, that's
know
so
that made
sweet.
me tear up, right? I was like, what? Like, where are them? He goes, it's from you. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
he doesn't want to spoil it by putting it on.
Yeah, he doesn't want to spoil it, right? Because he takes care of it, he folds it,
Yeah,
and keeps it, like in a safe spot. This is from my nephew, and
yeah.
yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, it's beautiful, right? That kind of love, or you know what I'm saying, that he really cherishes. Yeah.
That's so
And
nice.
if and it people see some disabilities, I see that they're more direct sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a purity, isn't there? There's
There's
like
a purity, yeah. Yeah.
there's lack of baggage and
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it's not like all like, but it's all not like easygoing and everything, right? Like for example,
Of course not.
he wanted to have a baby, you know what I'm saying, with his girlfriend and everything, right?
Right.
And I think my aunt, his older sister, said, oh no, no, it's gonna be difficult, that kind of thing. With another Down syndrome lady, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And then he was
Yeah.
heartbroken. He was heartbrokennright? But that
Yeah. Of
heartbrokenness
course.
was so pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like what this
Easy.
is, right? What things can be heartbreaking. Things can be not perfect and everything. But if you see directly at that, like, that's beautiful as well. Anything that appears. I like that you're looking around now with your eyes. It's fresh in you again, isn't
Yeah.
it? I heard that you saw Eliana. Did you see Eliana?
Liela, who's that?
Iliana? So you're from New Zealand? Or maybe
Oh
she was.
yes, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, of
okay,
course,
okay.
Iliana, yeah, 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 yes, lovely. We went to see Jim Newman
Yeah,
in the UK,
yeah.
Totnes, for a week. Yeah, oh, it's so beautiful over there. Oh my goodness, we had such a lovely time,
Oh,
and
good. Yeah,
great food and nice people. I met I keep forgetting his name. William. I met William.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
Ilyana I met, yeah.
yeah,
And of course, Jim. But
yeah,
yeah, Ilyana's absolutely lovely.
yeah.
Yeah, we
She
had
is lovely. Yeah,
a riot. Yeah, we had a good laugh.
yeah.
It's
She
really
told me.
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
show it a
yeah,
pic
she's
that
a
you
lot of
had
fun.
fun. And
Yeah,
you know what? It's just. And again, you know what? It's. So there is this idea that there is a seeker, but there's really no seeker. Again, kind of like right at this moment, right? It's it's over. It's been always been over. When it's
yeah.
directly seen, not you seeing it, but in this directness, right? It's just a passing fancy. It's just a it's just a pedestrian crossing, and it's gone.
Yeah.
But it doesn't exist. Yeah. What's contracted energy?
Don't ask me.
Yeah. Maybe you need a massage for your shoulder there.
That might be a good idea. Yeah, I might go get one of those. Yes, this doesn't stop us from being able to seek massages when
I've
necessary.
told a
So.
few people this. I'm like, what contracting? Just I don't even know what that is anymore. I'm like, take a bath with Epsom salts, and then someone called me, goes, the bath with the Epsom salts is the greatest enlightenment ever.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
exactly.
started calling
Massages
the
are pretty good.
Epsom salt G.
Excellent.
He's just like, sorry, Emerson, it was not you, it's the Epsom salt. When there's just clarity that there's just this really, and not even saying too much, right? Epsom salt bath can be so delicious now, right? Because it's just
Yeah,
it's beautiful, right? Um or
yeah.
just
I don't have a
walking,
bath, so yeah, I'll have to look for that in my
or
new
book a
house.
massage. Book a massage, right?
Yeah,
That would be
definitely.
really
Yeah,
good. Yeah. I had
yeah.
another one that booked a massage, and the person was said, I was so embarrassed, Emerson. I was making all of these groans and moans that the masseuse felt uncomfortable.
I bet.
He's he said that, well, to try to explain to her, all this time I thought I had contracted energy. It was just tightness in my body. I'm like, yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
And that's
And
it
it's
too.
normal, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's just
beautiful. It's beautiful. Just this emptiness, just this, I don't even know what to call this, right? But this is always this is all that there is, really. And that's saying too much.
it's so yeah, it's so simple that it's missed. I think
Yeah, it's always overlooked,
the
isn't
thing
it?
is
Yeah.
just missed by the drama queen.
The dra- How's your girlfriend?
No girlfriend at the moment,
Okay. Yeah. But that's it too.
but
That's
that's
it
it
too.
too.
That's
Yeah,
it
there
too.
are
Yeah.
times when it's like, oh yeah, it'd be nice to be in a relationship, and other times, you know what, I'm pretty good alone.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good as is. But yeah,
When
I'm
there's
dating.
contentment, when there's just this, you know what I'm saying? There's contentment here. So I go, sometimes I go to bars with my friend. My friend goes, hey, come on to a bar. And he goes, are you not
Yeah,
looking? I'm like, no. But seemingly when you're not looking in the story, you're more attractive.
yeah, yeah. That seems to
I
be
used to be
yeah,
so desperate, right? I would
trend.
buy new cologne, new shirt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Iron my shirt and shave 10 times and everything. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
when
And
it's
it's
just,
that
yeah,
yeah, yeah. There's nothing worse, nothing less attractive than a
yeah.
desperate
Someone
man.
said your your cologne cannot mask the scent of desperation.
Excellent.
Like, damn, damn.
It accentuates it, if anything.
It becomes
It's true though.
repulsive, right? Oh, desperate.
Yeah, yeah. And it's yeah, I know that very well.
Yeah,
But it's that's the opposite of that is beautiful as well. Like, not
it
being
is.
bothered, just not,
Yeah,
it's whatever's happening is happening, and
yeah.
it's okay. There's no need for it to happen in a certain way or to,
No, yeah.
you know, it's
It's
beautiful
just
as
this
it is.
beautiful unfolding, you know what I'm saying? It's just whatever it is.
Yeah,
Um, it's when it's drama free seemingly, right? You know what I'm saying? There's just this depressed, just depressed,
depressed. Depressed as in the
depressed,
button depressed.
deep rest, not depressed.
Oh, depressed.
Depressed.
Okay.
Sorry, it's my
Depressed,
Filipino
not
accent.
depressed, depressed.
The
Depressed, I like
garage
it.
door. Yeah,
Not
it's just
depressed,
deep rest,
depressed.
right? It's no one's resting. It's just
Yeah,
resting in
yeah,
peace. That's basically
I
it.
like that.
Because when there's a seeing that, all thoughts are dead, really, then it's just really resting in peace. It's just resting in peace. Yeah, peace,
Yeah,
and no matter what. Yeah,
peace and love, man.
yeah.
Peace and unconditional love.
Yeah. Whatever new word that comes up, there's a new
Yeah, that's true.
non-duality
Yeah,
word of the
whatever.
week.
Yeah. That's what I like. I do love that, I have to say. There's nothing to hang on to, then it just kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But there is something there that feels like if you're going to describe it with something, it could be unconditional love or just
Yeah.
something
Well, how about this infinitely
cozy, something,
uncontracting?
yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
nice.
It because I don't know how many characters have kind of coming down like, you know, contracted energy. And I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, you know what? And it just clears out completely. When I say it's just a thought, they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, it's not, it's also a thought, but yeah, it's just really an appearance. There's no reality to it. Because what seemingly
Yeah,
happens is when it becomes your reality, then it becomes your identity.
yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly.
Or your thoughts
Which
become
is
who
like
you are. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And you're missing your
yeah, so
beautiful new house.
yeah,
Al,
exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
next time I talk to you, I'll be moved in and you'll be able to see it. I'll give you a tour.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, I'm so depressed. I have a new house.
I know. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't
Is
it?
it? I'm in the countryside now. Oh, boo.
I'm gonna have to get a dog and oh god.
Oh, goodness. It's going to be more depressing now. I have a dog.
Oh my god. Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Emerson.
I love you, Cal. Thank you,
It's
brother.
been such a
It's,
pleasure. Love you too.
yeah. And you know what? Get my WhatsApp number and message me, right? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
pause this.
Okay.
Um,